Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So today we are going to talk about many players and their situations. It's going to be a very saturated video because right now as we speak, in the past 24 to 36 hours, Barcelona has been extremely busy. And so the way that I'm going to organize this video is that I am first going to talk about the players that have been brought in within these past 4 to 5 years. Then I will be moving on to the players that were basically born in Barcelona, the players who have been here for at least 7 to 8 years. And so in the first section, we are going to talk about Luis Suarez, Ivan Rakitic, Arturo Vidal, and Samuel Umtiti. We will be talking about some updates on these players, but in this section, I'm going to focus on Luis Suarez because this guy right here is in front of all of the newspapers. And it says here, according to Jared Romero, Ronald Koeman has already communicated to Luis Suarez that he does not want him. There was a phone call this morning. Next move will be the process of reaching an agreement involving a contract termination to confirm the departure. And so when this news broke out about 12 hours ago, I wanted to see the reaction of everybody because one of the greatest feedbacks you could ever get is from the fans. And to be honest, there was only backlash when they did hear that Luis Suarez was going to have his contract terminated, which I fully agree, right? Why would you want to terminate one of the contracts of a player that has been considered as a club legend in the past 4 to 5 years? And again, I fully agree on that. Luis Suarez is a legend. He is a player that we must highly respect. I get why he has been disrespected in the past 2 or 3 years, but overall, seeing this man's career with Barcelona, he is a legend, and it would only make sense to give Luis Suarez a proper goodbye. And it is harsh, right? It's harsh that we are hearing that Barcelona is going to terminate his contract. But here's what I have to say about this whole situation, right? I think that this board is aware that this club does need restructuring, and seeing what the club is doing towards a club legend like Luis Suarez, this is a clear indication that the club, the board members, everyone that works in this club have learned their lesson. They know that they should have never kept these players for this long. They know that they should have planned better, and that's probably a good thing that we should take away from this, is that the club is learning. They're learning from their mistakes, and terminating a contract like Luis Suarez's is only telling us that they do want to fix this quick. And so as for us fans, right, for you that's watching this video and for me, we should also take this as this club wants to rebuild itself. This club wants to become a new Barcelona by next season, and that is something that we have been wanting to see in the past 2 or 3 years, ever since Anfield, ever since the match against Bayern Munich, ever since the match against Roma. And it says here, according to Rack 1, Luis Suarez had received the confirmation today that they want him to leave the club despite having a contract in force until 2021. Barcelona will meet the lawyers of Luis Suarez in a few hours to settle the termination of the player's contract. And let me tell you, Luis Suarez is aware. He's aware of what's going on. He knows the club's intentions. He knows what the club feels about him, because I'm always going to go back to what Piqué did say after the match against Bayern Munich. Piqué said, I would have no problem putting myself a step down if it's going to make this club better. And I really do believe that ever since Piqué did say those words in that interview, Piqué also expressed that desire of what he wanted to do to Luis Suarez. And he said, look, the club is going to tell you this. The club is going to tell you to step down. The club is going to try and get rid of us. So be prepared to hear these type of news in the coming days. And I think that because of that, that is what's going to give Luis Suarez the comfort of knowing that maybe I'm not being pushed out. Maybe the club just wants to better itself. And so one of these solutions, instead of terminating this contract, is why can't Barcelona just sell Luis Suarez to Ajax and we just move on from there? And one of the biggest problems from that is the wage problems, because as of now, Luis Suarez is currently sitting at 450,000 euros a week with Barcelona. This is a wage that not every club could cover. And it says here, according to Di Marzio, Suarez will leave Barcelona, but not with a official confirmation. He is no longer part of the club's technical plans, but he does not intend to give up the 25 million euros that is due to him under his contract. Ajax offers him only 3 million a year. And look, just for the sake of not having you guys feel too bad about Luis Suarez, because I get it. I get why it's wrong to terminate a player's contract, but we must remember, Luis Suarez did say in an interview that he does not bother being replaced. He doesn't care if Barcelona find a player that is ready to replace him. Luis Suarez only wants what's best for the club, and he knows the club's circumstances. He knows the club's performance on the pitch. He knows how low this club has gotten. And so final conclusion, Fernando Puelo said this: the departure of Suarez is the first step in the arrival of Lautaro Martinez. His signing was conditional conditioned by Suarez's departure. As reported before, Lautaro is favored to strengthen the attack. The club plans on making a new attempt this summer, and the club is going to be communicating those plans to Luis Suarez, and that's only going to make it even more clear that Luis Suarez will not be a Barcelona player by next season. And moving on to the other three players, it says here, according to Jared Romero and Alfredo Martinez, who are two of the most reliable sources, have claimed that Koeman has communicated to Rakitic, Vidal, Umtiti, and Suarez via telephone that he does not have them in his plans for the coming season. They have to look for a way out now. So it is official. These are the four players that will be moving on and going away from this club. Koeman does not have any plans for these four players, and I think that this is the right decision. Players like Rakitic, Vidal, Umtiti, and Suarez do need to go. I'm always going to love them. I'm always going to be grateful for what these players brought to this club, but Barcelona needs to move on. We have plans. We need to get better. We need to start competing at the highest level of football. Lionel Messi knows that. The board knows that. And so it only makes sense to be making these type of decisions extremely fast. And notice the difference between having Valverde and Koeman. Notice how things are changing much more quickly and how stricter this club has gotten when it comes to changing the Barcelona squad. It just seems like Koeman has so much more authority in this club than any other coach that has been in this club in the past 3 to 4 years. It's fascinating to see this. And Koeman did make a statement about 12 hours ago, and he stated this: I like to be direct and have good communication with the players. I hold the brief meetings, but I make the message clear. And that is what I'm talking about. That is what I want to hear. I want a coach to say, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, and this is what's going to happen. This is a coach that is not afraid to speak, and I love that from him. And here's the thing that really does get me excited, is that when a coach does tell the club that this is what they want to do, which is this plan, right? The coach always has to make sure that the club does have enough resources and has an idea on who they are going to replace with those players they are going to give out in the summer. And so with that being said, I honestly do believe that Koeman has a list of the players that he does want. That list does exist. And now moving on to the second part of this video, we are going to talk about basically the veterans of FC Barcelona, and that includes Busquets, Sergi Roberto, Piqué, and Jordi Alba. And it says here, in principle, Busquets will stay at Barcelona. If he does stay, his role will change. Other players are still waiting because their future is uncertain, like Busquets, Roberto, and Piqué. They are players whose continuity isn't seen with bad eyes by Koeman. Nobody has contacted them yet. As for Alba, he already knows he will continue. So these could be the four players that might potentially stay at Barcelona. These were actually the players that were rumored to leave this club in this summer, but I think what Koeman is trying to do is this. He wants to get the team that has been here and has served Barcelona for the past decade or so and use them as the backup role. Now let me explain what I mean by this, because this is something that we have not seen in Barcelona before. I honestly do believe that this is the direction Koeman is going to go for. I think that he's going to get the veterans, Busquets, Sergio Roberto, Piqué, Alba, and use them as super subs, which automatically makes Barcelona's bench be one of the strongest benches in Europe. And there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with having a great, strong bench. We look at Bayern Munich. If we really pay close attention to their bench and who they had going against PSG, they had Benjamin Pavard, Tolisso, Ivan Perisic, Javier Martinez, Felipe Coutinho. These are all players who are more than capable enough to start in any starting 11, yet they have them on the bench. But Bayern Munich knows how to rotate. They know how to use them well. They know when to take them in, and I think that that is the direction Koeman is going to go for. He's going to know when to put Busquets in. He's going to know when to put Alba in, or Piqué, or Sergio Roberto, and that is wonderful to hear. It's true. You don't have to sell these players. Just give them a different role. It changes Barcelona for the better. And let me tell you, we have seen a glimpse of a strategy like this before. Back in 2015, when Barcelona was under Luis Enrique, one of the main changes when it comes to substitutions that we saw in that team was Xavi coming in for Ivan Rakitic. Keep in mind, Xavi was that player that seemed like he was unreplaceable, like no one could come in and replace him, but yet we saw Xavi start on the bench and then come in later around the 60th minute, and he did a wonderful job, and nobody saw nothing wrong with that. Xavi was utilized well, and when you are utilized well, you will see success. But unfortunately, we did not see that type of substitution strategy come into birth or come into life for the next 3 to 4 years after 2015. They completely demolished that idea, but I think that that was a great idea, and I think that that is the direction Koeman is going to go for. And I lastly do want to end it with this. Gabriel Sanz said this after the meeting between Koeman and Ramon Planes this morning. The coach has asked the sports director for a center back, 2 fullbacks to cover the possible departures, a midfielder, and a center forward. And just imagine that, right? Imagine the revolution that Koeman is demanding for, because in order to complete those transfers that we have just talked about, I just can't tell you right now who's going to be in this club by next season. It's extremely unpredictable. It's very unclear to know who Koeman does have in mind, but we should expect a very different Barcelona by next season, and that makes us so excited. This is something, again, that we have been wanting to see for so long, and it's finally happening. Finally, Barcelona is having a real transfer window, and this is a great way to start. So that'll be it for today's Barcelona Daily News. It's getting very busy. We don't know exactly who Koeman's main targets are, nor do we know who's going to replace who, but we are heading in the right direction. So again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.